You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News for January the 19th. And good morning to you, Rev Cindy. How you doing?
Good morning, Al. I'm buried in snow, but I'm doing okay. Yesterday I went out and I was going out shopping for my granddaughter for her birthday, and before I did, the hardware store across the road from me had an electric shovel, and I thought, I've been tempted to buy one of these for about 3 years now. So finally they had one on sale. It was a really great price, and I went over and I got it. And there's no way that this electric shovel is even going to touch the snow. The snow is taller than the electric shovel, and it's really heavy. So it's like, yeah, well, I got that, and it can stay in the box for now.
Yeah, for now. Well, when it gets light and fluffy, it'll move it really nicely. But if it's, imagine if it's heavy, wet stuff.
It's not going to do much for it.
It's not going to do much. Exactly. All right, before we get started in today's news, don't forget, if you're watching, hit the like and share button and help those algorithms bring us to you guys with the news, because we got important stuff today, and we have one story that we're going to start off with that wasn't even in the plan. It was something that we found just before, I guess, we were setting up for the show here today. And
added it last second,
Yeah. So here we go. We're going to bring it right up here, and let's get started.
Yeah. Coming to us from CTV News, mainstream media today. Cannabis recall in Quebec. Elevated arsenic levels prompt withdrawal of Lunaire product.
Arsenic. There you go. Here's the stuff. Quebec producer Great White North Growers Inc. has issued a recall for some Lunaire Nouvelle Lune dried cannabis products after tests showed elevated levels of arsenic, a toxic metal, heavy metal. Now, the recall notice posted on Thursday on the Health Canada website identifies the affected products as 3.5 gram packages of Lunaire Nouvelle Lune dried cannabis with lot number 1001470A, packaged on October the 31st, 2025, and sold through authorized retailers in Quebec, the Sûreté Québécoise de Cannabis. I don't see the date. That is scary. It's done on Halloween.
October 31st, So some of it might have been out on shelves and consumed by people. I'm also curious because they say that it identifies the affected products as the 3.5 gram packages. Does it only come in 3.5 grams? Does it come in singles? Does it come in pre-rolls? Does it come in bigger packages? Because that tells me that it might be the packaging.
Good question.
Yeah. Arsenic is a naturally occurring element that can be harmful to human health if ingested at elevated levels. Prolonged exposure has been linked to an increased risk of cancer and potential damage to the skin, lungs, heart, brain, kidneys, and reproductive system, the notice says. It may also pose risks during pregnancy and breastfeeding.
Now, officials say the recall was triggered after Great White North Growers conducted a non-routine additional testing on the lot, which revealed the contamination. Approximately 869 units of the product were sold between October the 31st and January the 13th through authorized cannabis retailers in Quebec. Well, there you go. It's been consumed.
It has been. But so far, there have been no reported health complaints or adverse reactions related to the recall. So that's good. But that's still 869 units. That's a lot. Health Canada and the company are urging anyone who purchased the recalled product to stop using it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you notice, it says a non-routine test. I think it should become routine unless they know what the source is and can remove it. Consumers can return unopened products to the retailer where they purchased, or safely dispose of open products out of reach of children and youth. And consumers who are experiencing any health or safety issues connected to this or other cannabis products are encouraged to fill out Health Canada's cannabis reporting form, which is available online.
Yeah, and the recall affects the only specific lot listed, and other Lunary cannabis products are not part of the recall.
Did they just grow that specific amount for those 3.5, or was it just one big batch they put all into the 3.5?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to, that room where that particular plant, those particular plants came out of. Like, did they package it all in 3.5s? Is there stuff that has been made into pre-rolls or in bigger packages? I'm curious about that, because that will, and did they test that? I mean, I would have to assume that they did, but this is the government, so can't.
Well, they didn't test it until it was already packaged and out the door.
Somebody complained about something for them to get to do that.
Yeah. Not good.
Yep. And I find it interesting that the open product, they have to destroy themselves and lose the money. Here in Nova Scotia, I've received, I've purchased bad product from the stores. You open it up and you roll your first joint and you go to burn it. And I mean, like, the smell is off and then it burns black. And I'll tube up the joint that I just had and I'll go back and get my money back.
Yeah. Now it says that they can return any unopened product.
Yeah.
So if you just happen to open it up, and you've had one joint out of it, you can't take it back.
Can't take it back.
You just got to destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never good finding. Yeah. No, never good finding arsenic in cannabis.
No.
Anywhere, actually. So.
Anywhere. Yeah.
That's not good. All righty. Well, make sure you spread the word. Let everybody know, guys. So
yeah.
Girls. All righty. From that story, time to get started into the new format.
Into the new format. We had to throw the old format in there just for some nostalgic purposes.
That's right. Let's see if we can get some movers today.
But heading to our next story of the day is coming from the ounce. We talked about this earlier, is the Oz, the ounce. With the period afterwards, we decided it was the ounce. One step closer for cannabis breathalyzer. Vancouver company's cannabis breathalyzer has sailed through another test. Yay. Cannabex Technologies breath collection unit has passed electronic emission testing required by the U.S. Federal Communications Commission. Completion of emissions testing is a key milestone towards commercialization, the company said in a news release. The handheld unit, along with Cannabex's breath cartridges, form the core hardware of the cannabis breath test. Electronic emissions testing is required by the FCC for certain electronic devices, primarily those that emit radio frequency energy, before they can be marketed or sold in the United States, the company explained. The device has passed similar Canadian tests already, and testing was performed by Quay Laboratories in Burnaby, BC. Cannabex has launched 3 new videos demonstrating the product, and they're developing the device with US-based Omega Laboratories. They also announced it has sold more of its alcohol breathalyzers to a European maritime shipping company, in the last little bit as well. An Australian distributor has also made an order for their alcohol breathalyzer. So this is a company that is both in, kind of doing it on both sides, the alcohol and the cannabis, and they're working to get the cannabis one. It looks to me for the US, which to me, and this is just to me, that is showing us that the US is getting ready to maybe make some steps forward, and this might be one of the things they're putting in play before they do.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, you just never know. They may just want, even if cannabis still remains illegal, it's, it is through all the different states, legal independently in the states, where each state may want this type of device. The only thing I'm concerned about is it may show use, but does it show impairment? There's still still no scientific level to show.
No, I find that interesting. I mean, I've been part of a couple of studies here in Nova Scotia with the breathalyzers way back when, we're talking back in 2016, 2017, as somebody was making them to, in preparation for Canada going legal. And, it never worked. It never flew. I went in not having used all day, and it showed that I was like higher than a kite.
Yeah. Well, Glenn used to be a reporter here. He went 32 days and they said that he had tested positive.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
You, me, every other medical consumer in the country will always show positive.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way I could get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, all righty. From that story, we'll move on to the next one. This one is coming to us from StratCan, and the headline on it says, new research suggests irradiation does not fully degrade fungi or residual toxins in cannabis. The findings of a new study challenge the effectiveness of irradiation to completely address total yeast and mold counts in dried cannabis. The study raises concerns about potential health risks for vulnerable or immune-comprised cannabis consumers. The researchers at McGill University emphasize the need for better safeguards and more effective remediation methods, noting that even irradiated cannabis might still contain toxic fungi and residues. Now, a total of 12 cannabis samples were analyzed for the study. 2 of those samples, one irradiated and one not irradiated, were provided by a licensed producer in Quebec. An additional 10 samples were purchased from the Sorte Quebec Wild Cannabis retail stores. Now, 8 of the cultivation methods for the sampled cannabis came from greenhouses or hybrid greenhouses, and 4 were from indoor grow facilities. The current industry standard test, it's called ELISA, ELISA, and mass spectrometer were found by the study to be inefficiently sensitive when used alone to detect the trace amounts of residual mild toxins that remain after irradiation. They say a single spore can cause disease, so we had to go beyond the ELSA limit to see. To the general population, this may not have much significance, but immune-compromised people will be at higher risks, says Saji George, who's a study co-author and professor at McGill's Department of Food Science and Agricultural Chemistry. Although all samples passed Health Canada's colony forming unit threshold, which is less than 50,000 CFUs per gram, they consistently tested positive for detectable levels of major mycotoxins, including one called oxytoxin. Word I can't pronounce, sorry folks, but it's there. Now, analysis also revealed broader diversity of fungi and the persistent presence of mycotoxin biosynthesis DNA. The researchers state this suggests that irradiation, while significantly reduces fungal and bacterial loads and eliminating cultural bacteria, does not fully degrade fungi genomes or residual toxins. They say cannabis buds have sticky resins, so they are really susceptible to contamination. These fungi are everywhere, so we need to be more careful at every stage, from growing and harvesting to processing and storage, according to the study co-author Mamta Rani, who's a research associate at the Laboratory of Sustainable Agricultural, Food, and Environmental Applications. Now, the paper concludes that as the cannabis industry evolves, microbial testing needs to evolve as well. It recommends a nuanced approach that uses cultural molecule and immunological techniques alongside more stringent microbial standards during production stage. So there you go, Cindy. They're always talking about this as being the thing that's going to get rid of all the fungi and the bacteria in the cannabis. But this test is saying otherwise.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I feel that they're just trying to find ways to, excuse my language, fuck with our cannabis.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew, before the governments got involved with all of this stuff, we all grew, and really it was fine.
People were growing all the time, yeah.
And all of a sudden now we have cannabis disease, we have irradiated cannabis, which doesn't just kill fungi or anything else. It kills the cannabinoids. And we have scromiting. This is all coming from the government, and I'm not sure if I believe it.
Yeah. It's just, no one's testing my cannabis or anything. I grow my own. Right?
Yep. And yours burns clean. I've smoked it.
Yeah, exactly. All righty. Time for us to move on to the next story.
Absolutely. Today, coming to us from International Cannabis Business Conference. This one caught my eye. Significant increase of German cultivation associations expected this year. I want to go to Germany, so that's really exciting. The German Cannabis Business Association recently conducted a survey posing a question. And the question was, currently, there are at least 368 approved cannabis cultivations associations in Germany. And how many do you expect by the end of 2026? Cannabis cultivation associations are a key component of Germany's adult use cannabis legalization model, along with home cultivation and eventually regional adult use cannabis commerce pilot trials. Nationwide recreational cannabis sales remain prohibited in Germany due to current European Union agreement limitations. Now, it was quoted, most responses indicated numbers between 400 and 600 growers in the association, with a clear focus on around 500. Some participants estimated significantly higher figures of up to about 1,000 or even 2,000 growers in the association, and continued to say overall the results suggest that the majority expect a significantly further growth in cannabis cultivation associations by the end of 2026, coming from the industry association in a newsletter. Cultivation associations in Germany involve adult cannabis consumers becoming members of the associations and sourcing their cannabis products legally through them. Prospective cultivation association operators could start applying for licenses with authorities in Germany as of 2 Julys ago, so July 1st, 2024. This is also happening in Malta, just kind of an interesting point. But I'm excited, Al, I don't know about you, for them to go fully recreational.
Yes. I'd like to see another country go fully recreational because it adds to the list and helps get cannabis legal worldwide, and people aren't being hung like they still are in some countries.
Now, in Germany and Malta, it is, residents are becoming part of these associations, and it is considered recreational. I don't think you need a prescription to become part of this.
I just was assuming that there was just basically a recreational, not a recreational, but a medical program. But
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll find out as time goes on. But okay, all right. Time for us to move on to the next story, and this one's coming to me from from the Oz. I'm sorry, from the Oz of the ounce, as Cindy said earlier, the ounce. Now, headline there says, still lots of illegal cannabis being smuggled. The Canadian Border Services Agency says it's putting a dent on organized crime with seizures of illegal cannabis. Border officials or officers seized more than 42,400 kilograms of cannabis and 783,424 kilograms of undeclared tobacco between January 1st and October the 1st of last year. This represents almost 3 times the weight of cannabis and 43% more undeclared tobacco compared to the quantity seized for the same period last year, the agency said in a year-end release. It goes on to say that cannabis smuggling funds other illegal activities like narcotics and weapons smuggling. By intercepting illegal cannabis, CBSA officers are disrupting organized crime. The agency went on to say that in Nova Scotia, border officers made 62 illegal drug seizures, which included 2,400 kilograms of cannabis. They say that CBSA officers in Halifax intercepted 107 stolen vehicles and large shipments of illegal cannabis before they were shipped abroad. This includes 1,600 kilograms of cannabis destined for Barbados and 800 kilograms bound for the UK. Now in New Brunswick, 1,300 and basically 14,000 kilograms of illegal cannabis was seized. 6,700 kilograms shipment destined for Scotland was concealed in nearly 400 boxes inside the shipping container. Now, in Northern Ontario region, 238 kilograms of illegal cannabis was seized. In Cornwall, Ottawa, and Pigeon River, seizures included 240 kilograms of CBD powder, 37 kilograms of cannabis, 50 kilograms of cigars, and other stuff, including 200,000 nicotine patches. Now, investigation led to multiple Customs Act and Excise Act convictions and fines, and the CBSA St. Lawrence District Marine Unit, they said that they seized 23 vessels and issued fines for failing to report or illegally importing cannabis. Now, in the Greater Toronto region, 5,300, so basically 5,400 kilograms of illegal cannabis was seized in Southern Ontario. 96 kilograms of cannabis was also seized. They don't say where here. In Quebec, they seized 5,900 kilograms of illegal cannabis. The total was for Manitoba, a lot, 2.28 kilograms. Saskatchewan, 2.5 kilograms. Alberta, 108 kilograms. In BC, but numbers are back up again. 1,400 and 276 kilograms of cannabis was seized there. So lots of illegal cannabis being shipped around out of our country, even though it's still illegal here.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's, they're making a dent, but how much is getting through? Right? Just
I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. All right. Well, we say that's time for us to take a break.
Time for us to take a break.
All right. You're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca. We'll see you in about 3 minutes.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
I'm
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back, and you're with Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. We've got 4 more stories to cover. And what do you say, Cindy? Time to get out.
Might as well get them done.
Let's get them done.
Let's get them done. Once more, coming to us from the Ounce. Cannabis gets a look as alcohol treatment substitute. Yeah, we've been doing this here in Canada a long time. Could cannabis be used instead of alcohol in an addiction treatment program? That's what researchers wanted to find out by studying participants with alcohol use disorder who received measured doses of the liquid as part of their program. Beginning in January of 2023, 35 participants in a managed alcohol program were offered the choice of a pre-rolled joint instead of their prescribed hourly dose of alcohol. Interesting. Managed alcohol programs are harm reduction interventions for people with severe alcohol use disorder and homelessness that don't require abstinence as a condition, the study authors explained. Managed alcohol programs, MAPS they call them, can reduce risky drinking behaviors such as heavy episodic drinking and then use of non-beverage alcohol, as well as contribute to overall reductions in alcohol use. It's really kind of interesting as I was reading this study. The study evaluating cannabis substitution for alcohol within the context of a Canadian managed alcohol program was published in the International Journal of Drug Policy. It was conducted by the Canadian Institute of Substance Use Research and Department of Psychology at the University of Victoria, which is near Ottawa Inner City Health. Emerging evidence suggests cannabis substitution for alcohol may offer a promising approach to mitigating alcohol-related harms, the study says. One participant was quoted in saying, "I want to continue smoking cannabis because I don't drink as much when I do it. It curbs the cravings." Another participant was quoted, "I'll never go back to drinking. I find cannabis is not a destructive force like alcohol has been on me. It's a gentle glow." Beautiful sentiments from a couple of the participants. And participants who on average consumed more cannabis and less alcohol in this program as well. They are looking at future studies and they're looking at going with rich CBD rather than a THC for a future study to see how that might be different. And the next phase of research will evaluate whether substitution can lead to other outcomes, including changes of quality in life, better living, better overall health, reduced alcohol-related harms, and reduced police contacts. We have watched cannabis substitution programs here in Canada for a long time now. Neil Magnuson, God rest his soul, started the CSP, and we've watched it do a world of good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see this happening. I didn't even know about such MAPS programs where they manage your alcohol for you. You just come in, you get your dose once an hour to stop you so you don't get drunk and you don't get sick, but yet you don't get the insane, withdrawal effects, which can be fatal coming off of alcohol. So this is really cool, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the future, see what CBD does for it. One of the complaints that I did read was, for somebody, it was too heavy It was the THC was too much, and for another participant, it wasn't enough. So they're looking at adding CBD and maybe start to personalize the doses.
Yeah, correct. And having a variety, what's available to them as far as on this testing and thing, because it, as you said, some will find it too strong, some won't find it strong enough.
Yeah.
And then there are some that could feel like it works at the beginning, but then it doesn't work because they sort of become immune to it because of the tolerance level.
Well, I mean, and that's the same as alcohol, and people that are alcoholics, as I'm a recovered one, it takes more every time you drink to get drunk, to get what you're looking for. So, the same thing does apply to cannabis. You can, without changing your strains, you can become tolerant.
And that's what I was gonna say. Change the strain.
Yep. And it's as simple as that. You can keep, there's enough strains out there that have a similar effect and a similar THC that the only thing that you're really changing as far as what somebody's going to recognize is, oh, this tastes different than yesterday. Well, that's because it's animal face versus blue pave, right?
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. All right, time to get started on to the next story. This comes to us from Normal, down in the U.S., normal.org. A headline there says CBD-rich cannabis extracts reduce ADHD symptoms in children with autism. Now, the administration of CBD-rich oil extracts in children with autism is associated with reduced impulsivity and improvements in other ADHD-related symptoms, according to the data published in the journal Current Neuropharmacology. Now, Israel researchers assessed the efficacy of CBD-dominant extracts in a cohort of children diagnosed with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, and ADHD over 3 to 6 months. Study participants were assessed at baseline and at the completion of the study by their school teachers utilizing a standardized rating scale. Now, the assessments revealed significant improvements in the following categories: anxious shyness, perfectionism, ADHD index, emotional liability, and hyperactive impulsivity. Participants also demonstrated reduced hyperactivity and improvements in their ability to maintain attention, though these changes did not reach statistical significances. The study's authors concluded, this is the first prospective study to elevate effects of CBD-rich cannabis on ADHD symptoms in children with ASD using standardized teaching-based assessments. The findings indicate improvements in core behavioral domains, while previous studies have focused primarily on parent-reported outcomes or small-scale trials. Our results support emerging evidence on the role of cannabinoids in modulating attention and emotional regulation. These findings support the need for future clinical trials to validate efficacy and determine optimal dosing. The placebo-controlled clinical trials have previously demonstrated that CBD-rich cannabis extracts are safe and effective in mitigating symptoms in children with ASD, while observational studies indicate that cannabis inhalation reduces ASD symptoms in adults.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's actually something that I have had the privilege to see in person. I met a parent once, and their child had extreme ADHD due to the child being on the spectrum, and they confided in me that they let their child partake with CBD, and it made all the difference in the world. The child went from having D's and F's to A's and A pluses.
Nice.
D's and F's to A's and A pluses. Nothing below. Like, I mean, they skyrocketed through the letters there, and that to me, even though I only saw one person go through it, like it was that was huge. Like, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Now, this was a teenager, a 14-year-old, but still in the child spectrum.
Sure. Now, could it be, as they mentioned, it improves their attention span? Could
Yes.
the benefit is the attention span, which allows them to be more focused and to bring in more, be more of a sponge when it comes to information and educational stuff.
And that's what this young person reported. And this young person actually got a hold of a CBD vape cartridge behind their mother's back and used it at school so they could focus better.
Wow, really? Eh?
And he was, they were 13-ish at the time, and, just about 14 when their mother caught them. And it was truly CBD, and, the mother saw the difference. Like, oh, that's why you went from there to there. Oh.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you can see it in a report card.
Yes.
To show the difference. Like, as long as the report card, was issued before you got caught by mom. That's.
Yeah. Now, I suggested to them, I gave them a few names of people that I knew that were, advocates and doctor advocates and whatnot. And I said, maybe you can make it legal. I never heard anything back from them after that. But I do know for a fact that they did move forward with talking with some of these people. And so my fingers are crossed that they ended up with a prescription for this young person, and this young person continued to improve their life.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All righty. Next story.
The next story is coming to us from International Cannabis Business Conference. Spain authorizes medical cannabis for 4 pathologies. Medical cannabis is far from being a new thing in Spain. However, actual regulated medicinal cannabis access for Spain's suffering patients has long lagged behind the need for safe access to medical cannabis products. Progress has been made in recent years, albeit slow process, as evidenced by a recent announcement of the authorization of certain cannabis products for specific ailments. Medicinal cannabis will be administered orally in Spain in doses determined by the doctors for each patient, which may not exceed 32 milligrams per day under any circumstances. Wow. And initially for only 4 indications: chronic pain, spasticity due to multiple sclerosis, severe forms of epilepsy, and nausea and vomiting due to chemotherapy. So cancer. This is established in the monograph published by the Spanish Agency for Medicines and Health Products of the Ministry of Health. Due to limited data, the outlet wrote, due to limited data for establishing a dosage recommendation, the Spanish Agency for Medicines and Health Products has determined that doses should be individualized for each patient, recommending starting treatment with the lowest possible dose and gradually increasing it until the optimal amount is reached. However, in no case should the maximum daily dose exceed 32.4 milligrams of THC or 25 milligrams of CBD. Wow, I take 4 times that amount first thing in the morning of CBD. That's crazy. Last October, Spain's Council of Ministries announced that the royal decree regulating the medicinal use of cannabis is standardized preparations was approved. The announcement came after years of medicinal cannabis advocates pushing for policy and regulatory modernization in the European country. And let me see, I'm just taking a look down. Spain's Minister of Health stated in a news release when this happened, the standard responds to the need to offer a therapeutic alternative in cases where conventional treatments are ineffective. Modern treatments are ineffective, I would say, especially in patients with chronic refractory pain, severe epilepsy, or multiple sclerosis. Formulas with standardized cannabis preparations may only be prescribed by specialized physicians and must be prepared and dispensed exclusively in a hospital pharmacy services under individualized clinical supervision. He goes on to say, standardized preparations must be registered with the Spanish Agency for Medicinals and Medical Devices, guaranteeing their quality, safety, and proper dosing. The decree also creates a public registry managed by the Spanish Agency for Promotions of Health, in which all standardized cannabis preparations used to create master formulas must be registered. Wow, they're really keeping an eye on this. These products must have a defined composition of THC and or CBD, comply with strict manufacturing, traceability, and quality requirements, and are subject to additional inspection when they contain more than 0.2 THC. Wow. Wow. What do you think of all that, Al?
Wow. Just like you were saying, like I was saying wow behind the scenes here when you're reading off some of those limits that they had, and being oral, like, you know, Spain's got the big Spannabis Cup and the whole bit, and
there's all kinds of Spanish tourism around cannabis. I mean, I was looking last week,
clubs and all that. But
this makes me think of Amsterdam, because Amsterdam, you know, even though they are infamous for their cannabis tourism, it's not legal there.
That's correct. Yeah. And like, I can see where there's people who can't handle 10 milligrams of THC, but they cap it. You know, I make a drink with THC, with a THC base that I put into my beverages.
Yes.
50 milligrams.
And I find that, you know, like crazy. But at least I can understand that they don't understand THC. So let's build it up slowly, which, you know, I find crazy, but okay, I can almost understand that. The CBD though, coming in at less.
Yeah. Especially when there's no high to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was something I was going to say. Now I can't recall exactly what it was, but it was, it just does. Oh, I know what it was. They said oral consumption. Being that oral goes through your mouth, you know, you know what I'm getting at, eh?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Not like I'm smoking through my nose, I'm smoking through my mouth.
Right? I wondered about that when I was reading it. So when you're going through it. All righty. Next story.
Al's got to click some buttons before he's ready.
Oh, I'm up. Right.
We have our first blooper.
I'm just dumbfounded by that story. What? So, like I said, one of these days we're going to run into some bloopers doing it live.
That's great.
All right. The next story. It's up. Here we go. This is coming to me from Mugglehead Magazine. Headline says, California institutions procure millions for diverse cannabis research. It says California has ramped up its investment in cannabis research, awarding nearly $30 million in grants from cannabis tax revenue and other sources in late 2025 and early 2026. These grants will support studies on health impacts, cultivating methods, and market dynamics. This third round of funding from the Department of Cannabis Control brings the state's total distributions to about $80 million since the department's Cannabis Academic Research Grant Program was established in 2020. The awards aim to fill knowledge gaps in a rapidly evolving industry. Key recipients, including major universities like UC Berkeley, UCLA, and UC San Francisco, with projects focusing on everything from crop yields to therapeutic potential and consumer safety. This surge in state-backed research comes as federal attitudes towards cannabis soften, potentially unlocking more opportunities for scientific inquiries. Among the highlights is UC Berkeley's collaboration with Glass House Brands, which recently secured $1.8 million for a project titled Cannabis Crop Yields Survey and Remote Sensing, announced on January the 13th. The study will estimate yield variability across indoor, outdoor, and mixed light cultivation systems using grower surveys, fields observations, and remote sensing tech. The partnership, which began in 2024 with an initial hemp research aims to improve regulatory oversight, market forecasting, and sustainable practices for California's legal cannabis growers. UCLA has emerged as a major beneficiary, receiving $7.3 million across 4 grants for wide-ranging investigations. One notable effect at this school, led by professors Neil Garg and Ken Hoek and Tai Tang, involves a $2 million award to synthesize and evaluate novel cannabinoids for therapeutic uses. This assessment will include a focus on computer modeling of their interactions with brain receptors to minimize side effects. Loma Linda University has joined the wave of funded research in the state with an $810,000 grant from California's tobacco-related disease program. The award funds, not derived from this DCC, in this case, will be used to examine how vaping products and cannabis impact gum disease progression in adults. Led by Professor Hansel Fletcher, the study will focus on aerolized nicotine and combustible cannabis, highlighting potential health concerns amid rising use of these products. All these projects aim to inform policymaking and will make their findings publicly available at no cost. Well, I look to see the results of some of this test results.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money going into the research. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and there's research for therapeutic potential, and there's, as always, there's the research to try to find more harm, right? That's always thrown in there.
It's always part of it.
Yeah, and they're doing research as well for growers and stuff. Probably the only thing I don't like, but I like, I guess you could say, is not everybody likes to smoke cannabis. Not everybody eats gummies or anything. Some people just feel more comfortable taking a pill, right? And that's where the synthetic stuff comes in. But when the synthetic, unfortunately, there's side effects with everything, right?
Yep.
And as one doctor, a researcher has said, nobody has told me that they prefer the synthetic version of cannabis over the actual plant.
Nope. I was on it at one point in time before they let me have a cannabis license, and it was horrible. I didn't like the effect of it. It wasn't like using cannabis at all. And to try and get off of it was, honest to God, quitting smoking was easier.
Easier, eh? Mm.
It was a hard one to get off of. I would put it right up there with oxy and benzos to get off of.
Yeah.
For me, It was really, really hard. Like the withdrawal effect of it was brutal.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks. I'll just stick with my whole plant herb. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Well, Angel's just come to say hi.
I was going to say, that's not Corey.
That's not Corey.
It's not red. Is that orange? So who's this?
This is Angel. She is 17 and a half.
Oh, wow. That's as old as our Garfield and we've got here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
He's an old girl.
He sure is. Or she is. He is? You said old girl.
She.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. Well, that's it. We can say goodbye. That's a wrap. That's it for today. Hope you guys, everybody out there, found it informative and educational. Thanks go out to everybody for tuning into the broadcast, as well as to our sponsors, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, as well as at ease.ca. We will see you Thursday morning.
Thursday morning.
Make sure it's Monday. But other than that, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.